In this episode, I talked with a very dear friend who also happens to be a tech visionary, a coach, and a very successful startup entrepreneur who made it all the way to Forbes' cover story. This episode is a personal account of his journey from being a tech AI graduate to a data mining expert, all the way to building his first startup using AI machine learning products, which is now a world-leading customer data and experience platform. I hope you enjoy our conversation. Hello, Jozo. Happy to have you here today.
Hi, Div. Thank you for inviting me.
So I know you don't like to talk about yourself and you're quite a humble, modest guy, but for my audience's sake, for helping them navigate through this discussion that we'll have today, let me begin with a story 10 years back when you kind of created something, I would say, revolutionary in the marketing analytics world or artificial intelligence world. You created a product applying artificial intelligence, a marketing automation tool that later on became a very successful startup business and still going on. So tell us a bit about that journey. How did that happen?
Okay, so like 10 years ago, it was 2012. Okay, that's the year where I founded my first company.
Mhm.
So it was transition for me from being a consultant or business analyst into being entrepreneur. And actually, what helped me, I worked for IBM before.
Right.
And when I quit, I learned so much from IBM. I learned so much from Adastra, and even before that, I worked for Antik. Antik was internet services provider in Košice, and I learned so much from them. And all those experiences helped me to create a company that, now you may know it. It's not even Exponia, it's called Boomridge right now.
It's been acquired by Bloomridge, which is a New York-based, headquartered in New York.
I don't really know.
So you just create startups, successful startups, forget about it, sell them, move on. Wow.
Yeah, it happens. It happens that you move on.
Yeah.
And but they're quite successful at the moment. Probably maybe later next year, maybe later this year or next year, they will go for IPO, and there should be like I don't know, $3 or more billion valuation. So it can be considered a success. It somehow works. And if you wonder how to build it, it's just learn from your experience.
Yeah.
In IBM, and I delivered some projects for clients using IBM proprietary technology, or that translates to companies that IBM acquired before.
Okay.
And so I decided to build my own technology to deliver those very similar services.
Right. Tell us a bit about that, the challenges that you faced explaining to people and in the industry where AI and big data and machine learning was not even probably heard of, or maybe just starting.
No, it's quite simple. You mentioned the Košice. There is technical university in Košice, and I studied artificial intelligence there, and I enjoyed the topic. And they told us, okay, with AI you can solve the most complex problems in the world, but never share what are those problems. So it was on us to find it out.
Yeah.
To find it out, I quit my job with this Antik internet services provider, because they were very local, just like Eastern Slovakia and things like that. I learned so much there, but I was the best AI specialist in Antik, and I wanted to learn from people who are better than me.
Yeah.
So I moved to Bratislava, started working for Adastra as a data mining specialist, and it was, data mining and AI are somehow connected.
Yeah.
And I ended up delivering projects for banks, for telco companies, insurance companies that collected data and built predictive models on top of that.
Yeah.
And then I moved to IBM, and IBM did the same thing in a more international setup.
Right.
When I quit IBM, I wanted to start my own business. I wanted to explain AI to common people, like in Eastern Slovakia, for example, So I partnered with a company. They were actually IBM partner, and gave them my deck, my presentation. And guys, if you are able, please call your contacts, and we will visit them, and we will show them this deck, and maybe there will be a project because we will be able to explain how AI can help them. And we simplified all the storytelling just to the story of segmentation. Probably you are a business, you have some clients, and do you really understand them well? Only if you had a segmentation, and you would be able to see differences in your portfolio of clients. So maybe those people, and our question is how we build a useful segmentation.
Right.
But people suddenly understood, or that was something, okay, that doesn't seem to be too much complex, but you are right, we don't have too many segmentations in place in our business. So we were discussing segmentation as a way. Maybe you build segmentation using some AI techniques, but it helps you to understand millions of, ideally, millions of customers that are, if you are in a business with millions of customers, how can you have personal relationship with all of them?
Right.
It's hard. And AI can help with that.
So it's interesting how you change the narrative of explaining machine learning from a technology standpoint to customer narrative. So you mentioned it was a struggle to explain machine learning concept, but then when you started explaining how it will help in customer segmentation and reaching out to the customers in a personalized way, customized way.
At the university, they mention it, that something like that can happen. Maybe when you teach you about neural networks and, I don't know, different optimization techniques and algorithms, you wonder how is this useful for maybe starting a business.
Right.
And when if you study economy or management or, I don't know, business, they will probably push you to speak a lot with clients. And if you combine those two things, like speak with clients and ask about their needs and problems, how can you help them?
Right.
And you know something about AI, maybe you will change your language definitely.
Yeah.
And find a narrative that connects with them. And segmentation, back in days, it worked. And chances are, look, it was, I don't know, 2012, and segmentation is still a topic.
Right.
Up to these days. And on a more maybe abstract level, look like AI helps people to better understand themselves.
Wow.
We build technology, artificial technology, only to better understand each other.
I read that your very first client, or when you created this product, this predictive model, AI model, you offered, I'm not sure if that's true, I'm pretty sure it's true, but if you want to talk about your dentist, and you said you took their patients' data.
Yeah, we built a CRM for dentists.
Yeah, so
the most successful campaign ever.
And they were literally the first client, right? Or
not really sure if they paid for the service.
I would say free sample.
Maybe something very small, like 500 euros or something like that. This dentist is maybe a great example.
Yeah, great.
Like, take it from my perspective. Quitting the job with IBM, like refusing the offer of some kind of promotion and starting my own business. And, always thinking about how to make it work, how, I deliver this project for IBM for I don't know how many millions a year. I want to start with smaller clients, maybe not banks, but something smaller just to prove the value. If it's so useful for banks, it can be useful for dentists or, I don't know, grocery stores or whatever. And then it happens that you go for a dentist visit.
Yes.
You sit in a chair and you wonder, I came there into her office and there was nobody in the waiting room.
Okay.
There was nobody. Can you imagine? Dentist and nobody in front of the doors.
I have never.
She just waited for me to come.
Never seen that.
I haven't. I had no appointment. I just came. Nobody was there. She took me, and I wonder how much time do you waste by waiting on your patients? You probably already have not a database. They had I don't know if it's English word.
A scheduler or
those paper files.
A record of your patients.
In a rack with all those records. Nothing.
File folders. all of that.
folders. Yeah,
Folders.
and a stack of them, like I don't know, 2,000 different folders. But those people were not in a room. And simple idea: only if they would knew that you have time, they would come.
Yeah.
Oh, but you know, I'm a dentist. I'm not a marketer, so I will never like my professional honesty or it's not
Ethics,
honesty.
professional ethics, or
Maybe
skills.
I'm a professional doctor. I will never ask my patients to come.
It means a pride, or in a way, ego.
Pride is great.
Professional pride. Okay.
And look, so maybe that was a limiting belief of hers. And okay, if you want, can we? And I hired a lady, a student that just graduated, and asked her to digitize those files and collect the addresses and so on, and just send an email. Actually, we wanted to send email or SMS message, but there were no cell phone numbers or.
And how much of a data sample
emails.
we're talking about? Sorry to interrupt you. What kind of, like,
we processed
1,000,
we processed like everything, like 2,000 files or records, and we extracted addresses. We excluded those who visited recently or something like that, and we sent like, I don't know, 500 mails, snail mails.
Yes.
And we asked for like some kind of company sponsored delivery with their samples of, I don't know, toothpaste or something like that. So it was what a thing. But out of 500 people, 70% responded.
Wow.
70% came to the office for a dentist visit.
70% conversion in that sense.
Imagine marketing campaign with 70% conversion.
And that was a very successful campaign.
It was for her. It changed her life because those people came for a visit. And some of them had problems, so she had to work for another, I don't know, half a year. And it was so nice. They published an article in local newspapers about it. So how she's using, and I don't think that they mentioned AI or digital technologies or something like that, but how advanced she is. So.
Right. And how did you feel about that? I mean, did that lead to being more passionate, or not, but driven to go into the bigger market, approaching the next big client?
I knew that it works. And it was confirmation. So yeah, like not surprised.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time there, and from commercial perspective, like how to scale this, how to, it can't be too expensive. It can't be $1 million service, and how can we deliver something like that in scale?
Right.
And for scaling this up, we would need a better technology.
Right.
So it was a signal. Okay. If we build this technology can be eventually successful.
Right.
And, you have this Bloomridge right now, so it is.
From the dentist as a first client to Bloomridge customers all across the globe. What an amazing journey. There's one more little anecdote that I found very interesting, Jozo, if you don't mind talking about that a bit. I was reading about an article, I was reading an article about you in Forbes, and it said, to quote, "A tech visionary goes to Silicon Valley." Now, when I double-clicked on that story, because obviously, since you're my friend as well, I was very curious to know what happened, what conspired. This is before you founded your first company. You were sent for attending a conference, I believe, from your current employer.
No, actually, I was sent for a promotion. It was I finished my project with a client in Europe.
Okay.
It was like considered success. And okay, Jozo, if you're so successful, like helping us sell and delivering project, we will promote you to a new role. Actually, it was like business development manager for analytics in EMEA, whatever, something like that. There were just 8 people like me in the world. So, I would be the only one in this location. And they sent me for onboarding to Las Vegas for some reason.
Not Silicon Valley yet. So first you went to Las Vegas. Tell us about that.
By the way, when I joined IBM, I really wanted to visit the US, but probably few people from local office ever visited US. So
this was a big deal.
And by the way, after I went there, they cut off all travels.
you got lucky.
Yeah, so it was my last moment for traveling. But I flew to Las Vegas. It was my first time in US. I totally ignored all the slot machines and all those things there.
So what happened in Vegas in this scene did not stay in Vegas. It went to California.
I rented a car, the first car with automatic transmission in my life. I enjoyed it quite a lot. And moved to Silicon Valley. And I visited my friends from Slovakia. And they were building some kind of startup.
Yeah.
It was called Circle. Some kind of social network. It's not existent at the moment.
Sorry to interrupt, but I just want to make sure. So you literally drove for like 10 hours?
No, it's like 6 or something like that.
From Vegas. And
I felt that how special I am, but all people from San Francisco moved to Las Vegas and vice versa. So it's nothing special.
So Vegas couldn't hold your interest there. You just wanted to. So there was already a budding.
Of course. So I visited Palo Alto. And in Palo Alto, there were guys like 8 of them living in a house, and they already graduated. And guys, you still live together? Yes, of course. We build startup. We code overnights and we sleep during the day.
Yeah.
And why do you do that? What are we supposed to do? Like that's how we want to live. And you do it for money? No, because we already have enough money. I just sold my website for $5 million. Oh, so you are a millionaire? Yeah, I am. But I'm not the largest billionaire because I am just a millionaire. There is a billionaire next door. Oh, you are so modest. So whatever was my picture of successful entrepreneurs, so it changed. So successful entrepreneurs just work together.
Yeah.
Live very normal life and build their next product. That's something it appealed to me.
It changed the perspective, probably. That
I loved it. And actually, I was 27 at the time. And come on, those guys are younger. Like from my perspective, more successful in my life than me, like selling this or building these IBM solutions in my suit. They don't wear suit; they wear t-shirts and shorts, and this is kind of life I would love to have. And it is a story about freedom because those guys had freedom. If you work in a corporation, you can't leave for a cup of coffee anytime you want.
That's true.
And like with those entrepreneurs, it's all about coffee at the time you want.
The freedom
of your choice
was something that attracted you the most.
Freedom,
not the money.
Freedom and responsibility, like way of life. You want to decide where you do what, when you do what. Of course, there is responsibility because if you waste your time, and of course I wasted a lot of time playing games, for example.
I think you were still 27, so it's allowed. You're still young.
You wonder what I do overnight? I play chess or StarCraft or
that's for another day conversation. I'm sure we'll catch that. Okay, please continue.
But this is interesting. You somehow manage your time between what is productive, what is coffee, what is relationships, and I want to take this responsibility into my hands.
Right.
So and by starting like independent company, that's the best environment where you can practice those things. And if you manage these like distractions pretty well, you will eventually be successful.
Great. Wow. What a fascinating story. I think there are a lot of people who still are toying with this idea of being in corporate or even having their own businesses, but wanting to be successful and achieve in the startup entrepreneurship world. So let me take you through the direction of a little bit of startup tutorial. I would like to get your perspective on what are some of the building blocks. And
somebody recommended me at the university book from Kiyosaki, this Rich Man, Poor Dad. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Yes, something like that. Yes. And I would like to make a point that many books are not very useful because you somehow intuitively discover what is inside it. But this one, maybe at that point, I studied AI. I didn't know too much about economics. It was very eye-opening. So, how do you make money? And do you make money by your own work, You can. If you exchange your time for money, but there is no leverage.
Right.
And okay, maybe you can become a like contractor or like independent or yeah. It still can be very similar.
Right.
Then you can build a company where you have the leverage of using other people money on using other people time for making some profits for yourself. So if you work for a corporation, you don't have those leverages.
Right.
So we need to change. And I could make a career in IBM. Maybe in a year I would become, I don't know, like promotions.
Right.
But then you quit and start a company, and you are CEO. You're on top of the ladder. Nobody below you.
Yeah.
But suddenly you become the most influential, most important for the business. And it's on you how big team, how big organization are you able to make. And there is one belief. Many people start, and after, I don't know, 10 years, they have still small company of 7 people and company is not growing.
Right.
And then the founding CEO is the most skilled worker in the company. The best expert is CEO.
Yeah.
And this is limiting for the company.
Right.
If you become a CEO, you want your people to be better experts than you are. And then your organization can scale. So I knew that from the book. I want to build a company, and I don't want to be the most skilled or experienced person there. I want to build a company where people can come, learn, and become better than I am. Then I have leverage of their time. And money, okay. I didn't know too much about VC capital at all, but it happened just so. I received a call from my friend that, Joshua, you did a great job for us on the project you were delivering. And, I have a friend of mine who is just starting a VC fund. And, I would recommend you. Recommend you to like
Just
hang up
networking,
and connect. And so we met and he invested.
Okay.
So masterclass of VC.
So I think what is important here for me to note is it depends a lot on the product.
Does it?
Otherwise, how do you connect
stage people, like Speed Invest, for example, they say in seed stage or pre-seed stage, you don't have product built. So it depends on team. Is your team strong enough? Do those people have all what it takes to be successful? And they invest, like 60-70% of the decision is based on the team. Question is, imagine yourself in the team. Are you the strength or a weakness of such team? What do you think? Those people invest in you as a person. How to convince them that you are strength, not weakness?
Again, I'm a single player here. I don't have a team. I don't have an organization behind me. So all I can rely on is my personal skills to persuade and the product.
You mentioned the single player.
Yeah.
And it's multiplayer game. So if there is solo founder, it's a red flag. There should be at least 3 people in a team and you would not be evaluated if you alone are the greatest person ever.
Right.
But you 3 do you have all necessary skills in your team to be successful? And maybe you position yourself as a product person. If you already have product, what skills do you think other 2 guys need to bring to the table for your team to be successful?
I think very important is selling skills or sales, marketing. And I would say personally, because my career is built mostly on people management and I believe in investing in right people. So I think your skill as someone who can identify talent and build a successful team is very important. So if you can demonstrate that.
You feel how all around it is?
Yes.
So great. If something important stays out, company will not be successful. Of course, those 3 people will hire VPs for in future.
Right.
But it's better than to have free salespeople.
Right.
Free salespeople starting a business, I would have doubts if I would invest. But
Right.
if I feel that there is technical founder, there is somebody who is great with people, maybe with for sales or for hiring, there is somebody great in marketing. In our case, I probably wasn't great in selling. Like who knows who knows how they considered me, or how they saw me. But when we meet with them, we already had a product, and that product had first users, and it was like either 100,000 euros in ARR.
Yeah.
So for that stage, it wasn't bad.
Right.
Question was, are we able to scale? And so we received some money, and
So you already had users enough to convince.
I bootstrapped my business.
Okay.
Bootstrap. So I had no money. I quit my job with IBM. Then I start to sell some services, and I use this services money for funding or for hiring quite relatively cheap or junior developers that were able to build the product.
Right.
The best decision ever. Those guys, and Marian Galik, very namely, I'm so thankful to him. He just graduated from the university. This was his first paid job ever. And as a junior, he started to building Exponia, and that software built by himself never crashed.
Wow. What an empowering
very
story.
Often when somebody starts to build a software, it will become spaghetti code, and you will lose the capability to innovation because you wrote bad code. Marian Galik never wrote a bad code. If he wrote, he fixed it, and that allowed us to scale.
Right.
But you need to be super lucky. Maybe there were very experienced developers on the market, but I wasn't able to afford them. So I bet on talent and with huge returns.
Let's talk a little bit more about people, the role of the importance of people in a successful organization or successful startup journey, or the story of successful startups. When you are building, let's say, a startup, but a global startup, and you start from a place like you were single player, or let's say few people, let's say 5 or 6 people or young buddies, and then you have a projection of becoming a very successful, or it's labeled as probably the next big thing. How hard it is for you to do the day-to-day operation, and how much do you rely on those people? And so you know what I'm saying is, being your CEO, CTO, COO, basically everything. Is it too much of a pressure to execute things on the ground?
Now, people management is probably your core skill, and you can.
I want to learn more. I want
give
to
me a master class how to work with people. You mentioned you used the word projection of being super successful, and it's not projection. Like it's projection, like this ice hockey stick in investor presentations.
How would you call it?
A vision.
Vision, yes. I wanted to say vision.
So we have a vision, and look, this vision is not in terms of money. Those money are side effect of like doing something you love and doing it with passion. Look, if I wanted more companies to have more personalized or more personal communication with their clients, I had no other option than to build a great product and sell it to as many clients as possible. Not just sell, but help them to take advantage of it, make profits for themselves. So this ARR metric on the end is a very honest feedback how well you execute your strategy. And it's not the only metric, but it's like your mirror.
Right.
You need to accept it. Maybe you want to build a great company, great culture, great whatever, but on the end of the month, you need to pay your bills. And if there is ARR, it's confirmation that your clients really benefit from services you sell.
Right.
And so probably this vision will be supported with some goals. And maybe I told you, like, I knew that, I want to move to Series A, from C to Series A, and Series A would mean at least 1 million ARR. what's the simplest way how to get to 1 million ARR, what people we need to hire, what competencies that we need to build in order to get there. And you do some math and you can imagine, okay, it will take, I don't know, 10 people or 20 people. Okay, once we get there, we will need to scale 10 times, one more time. What is it we need to do, we need to change, we need to build in order to be able to scale 10 times one more time? And you learn from your examples. You might have a plan. I thought that there must be a blueprint for building successful startup, and I don't think so. Every company is different. Every single founder, every person is different. So company started. If we too would start a company, it would be different from any other company in the world. So there's no blueprint.
Okay.
The question is, if we are able to listen, stay mindful about what's happening, is our sales growing or not? Are people happy or not? Are clients happy or not? Is our software okay? Is our, I don't know, HR, is it working well or not? And it's about prioritizing where you should spend your time and your attention.
Right.
And if you are able to be mindful about it, and if something is broken, try to fix it. But you can't fix you can't fix all the problems. So you need to prioritize. Okay, I will let some fires burn, but I will pick my fights and I will make sure that we will be successful in the end.
Right.
So that's tough decision making, and it helps when you are not alone, and when you have people around you who you can rely on.
And it's very interesting when I compare, we brought the topic of vision and strategy and the importance of having a strategy to make sure we have people working in the right direction towards the company's goal or organizational mission, purpose, and values. Now, I'm comparing from two different worlds. So I represent employee of a multinational corporation. And in a multinational corporation, it's extremely important to have the strategy defined, and at all times, all the employees, be it the senior management to the middle management to the frontline team members, to have alignment and to work towards those goals, to have a framework of how we are going to do it and how we are going to measure it, and KPIs and all that. And we have a whole framework to support that. My job as a leader is constantly keeping my team members aligned on that. And we often fail because just by the sheer nature of the big corporates, it's very easy for us to go different directions. But we have the tools and the trainings and all of those strategy cascade sessions. But when I look at your side of the world, when you start with a very flat hierarchy, like you're the CEO or CTO, plus you have few members, it's still very important for you to define your strategy, but you don't have that framework that we have. You know what I mean? How would you?
That's very interesting. Look, this vision can sound like very artificial. I have no vision. I need to write a vision statement or something like that. You don't. You probably have a vision, even if it's not written in any document. Look, I had a vision when I graduated from university. I wanted to work as AI. I wanted to understand how AI can help people. So I started my first job. I started my company, and all this driven by this
mission
idea of and actually it's curiosity. How can AI help? Maybe how can I benefit from AI helping other people?
So that became your purpose, to find out how
exactly
AI can help.
If you would ask me about, Jozo, what is your purpose? I had no purpose, but it's not true.
Yeah,
I had it in my, and chances are, whoever is listening, you have your vision, you have your purpose. Maybe you are aware of it, maybe not, but it's there. In the retrospect, you will be able to see it.
I'm just thinking if there's a tip for people who are listening, who are wondering, vision is just a buzzword and I don't know, and there's nothing like that. How can we know what's our vision? Like something that keeps us awake at night in a professional, space, or
there are many you feel it, you probably know about it, but maybe imagine that in order to achieve one of your dreams, you would need to give up on all others.
So pick the most
What do you desire the most?
Compelling.
So you are able to
dream.
sacrifice all other things just to achieve this one. And maybe by eliminating things that are not so strong in your heart, you will be able to identify, okay, this is what I really desire. And I as a person believe it's in all of us. Every single person has some kind of plan, something what really matters to him. And maybe if we are more aware of it, we will achieve it faster.
I just realized it's so fascinating to hear from someone who's, let's say, a guru in artificial intelligence talk about relying on the most human trait, which is your emotional intelligence. How did they fit in together? Because there are so many misperceptions or fear that AI would take away the human element of our lives and it won't be successful.
This is just immaturity of technology. Yeah. So current AI is great at some automation tasks that are usually maybe, you could measure IQ, but is AI really good at EQ, emotional intelligence? Probably not yet. Not yet. Eventually, AI will get better. And so maybe in 50 years, or I don't know, your Siri will respond to you with some kind of compassion.
It will be able to read my mind when I'm sad, or
maybe. But wait. This is intelligence, and when we build AI or artificial intelligence, we are inspired by people. Are you able to read my mind when I'm sad? Can you do it?
Depends on how well I know you, how much time I spend with you, what kind of relationship, in terms of are you authentic to me? It depends on a lot of personality traits or how,
so
frequently
if as people we would be very good at it, then we can aspire to build machines that are equally good. If we aren't great, how would we train those machines to become better than we are? Then that's the question. So
what are you suggesting that we need to work towards building a stronger emotional intelligence to be able to develop AI, which can actually help us in that space of reading minds or helping us with some kind of psychological.
Imagine that solutions. We would have this AI already. Yeah. It's built. How would you use it? What good can it have?
Oh, that's a very radical idea. I don't know if there's so many cases of people in today's world. People have more and more of mental health issues and depression. And I was just wondering, and I'm just making it up, wearing a gadget that kind of or reads, or depending on your speech or your body movements, could detect that the person is moving into stage that needs help, professional help.
Yeah, so you already see some applications. And look, I'm not in a market for such AI. What I learned is just listen to people. We are social beings. Just connect with other people. I can talk with you, and you can coach me. I can learn from you. I can enjoy emotional connection with you, and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't need AI to do what I love the most about life.
That's right. So in that sense, you kind of answered the question that we keep hearing is AI is going to replace the need to have people on the task force for many industry. I mean, it would probably be for some industry where it's very mechanical, very repetitive work, but where it involves human emotions.
Like AI is next step for automation. Automation, like moving parts or like automating simple things. And AI is automating simple things with more intelligence or more sophisticated problems. Right. But it's nothing else. Just, okay, less manual labor. Perfect. No, it's not true that it's nothing else. Like I mentioned to you, Grammarly. I love it so much. Like being born in Slovak, my English is not perfect. And I enjoy these little red lines in my text showing me how to speak better. And that's useful. And then, is it automation? And actually, it is automation. It replaces the need for translator, maybe.
Yeah, I think Grammarly replaces the need for you to go look in the dictionary for the grammar or research or think if you're framing the right sentence before sending an email. Yes, in a way, but that's a great example, by the way.
Yeah, Grammarly is super useful.
Okay, so
another favorite application is Discover Weekly from Spotify. So new music, that's amazing, and it somehow works for me.
No, I think it's very inspiring to hear and have this conversation. And at the core of all of this is human emotion and people involved.
One day I became a CTO in Exponia.
Yeah.
And instead of learning about AI, about technology, about all the different things, I started to learn about people. I spend most of my time in one-on-one discussions with engineers, with people, like I manage like 80 people. At that moment, and with departments like cooperation with marketing and sales, and I spend most of my time in discussions. By the way, without the ability to listen carefully.
So, people like me from a people management background, it is very assuring to know that our roles are always going to be important and critical.
I wouldn't say always. Maybe yes, maybe not. But when you listen. And you suddenly know what to do about it, and I don't need any AI for me to listen.
Right.
That's probably your superpower. You're able to listen to the people. You have compassion. You have emotional intelligence. You know what to say and what to not say at the moment.
I try.
That is so precious. And by the way, when you meet smart guys that have very high IQ, they need you so badly. Without you, their lives are so hard, so complicated. They will not achieve their goals unless they learn to listen and to communicate properly. So communication is so important in this world. So
communication, interpersonal skills, having those softer skills with, of course, the right technical aptitude.
Look, now we are building Dianza, like whatever, new application. You know nothing about Dianza, and only if we are great at communication, you will be able to learn something about it. We can build the best AI, best software piece ever, but without communication, it's worthless.
Right. And it's very interesting to see that graph, Jozo, for you when you built a very successful software company, which focused on business and making more sales and bringing more money. Let's say Exponia, Bloomridge.
How do you measure? Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah,
you said that you built very successful. What does it mean to be successful?
Well, I'm purely talking in terms of the metrics and the ARR and the evaluation of this company, the fact that it was acquired by a bigger, let's say, enterprise.
It's very fair. And yet, different people might have different measures of success.
It may be also successful, and correct me if I'm wrong, for you individually as someone who built something and you kind of got this personal satisfaction and, to create something that really is helping.
We had a discussion about if I consider myself to be extrovert or introvert, and I said that I'm in the middle by all the tests. And if you ask me about Exponia, if it's successful or failure, in the middle.
Okay, so
I understand that people consider it success for some reasons. Yet, look at Salesforce.
Yep.
Like $250 billion valuation. Exponia was able to compete and win some deals over Salesforce.
Oh, so that is success, according to you, right?
That's another level of success, completely another. And so if you are talking about financial success, so Salesforce is way ahead. And maybe for a small moment we had a chance to compete with them, only if we would execute flawlessly, and we didn't. So it is better company than many others, and yet it fulfilled like 1% or 1 promille of its potential.
Right.
So
great. So
it's very relative.
Thank you for correcting me on that. So going back to the same question, let's say from building something which was software focused on growing business, to now building Ayanza, which is focused on empowering the team members. Right? It's fascinating for you and for you as a developer too.
How you said the first one, growing business,
yes.
and now empowering employees. Isn't
it's
those
more? What I'm trying to say is, the shift is from a product, a successful technical product, to now focusing on people.
There's no shift.
No,
it's the same.
It's the same. Okay.
Exponia in heart was about data, data analytics. You know, if you analyze data, you will be able to understand and take better decisions. Yeah. Question is, what is it that you really? What do you really want? What do you really want in your business? Data might tell you something. What is it you really want? And this question is unclear in so many organizations.
Right.
For many different and very valid reasons. It's not clear what management wants. It's not clear what people, in delivery or like workers, what do they want? And if it's not clear, it's super hard to build any kind of AI or analytics or like you execute, but you don't know what those people really want.
Right.
Without answering those basic questions, it's impossible to optimize the company. If different people want different things, you optimize for one thing, then you will take away from, you will create new problems.
Right.
If you focus only on revenue, only on customer happiness. If you focus on something. So this is like my key takeaway from Exponia. So no AI, no data analytics can ever be successful without people having a vision for a better future. And without this vision to be well documented, accessible to everyone in organization, evolving. So it's not like you have one vision and you have blinders on your eyes and you don't improve. So this vision will evolve in a time, and there should be some kind of process to evolve your vision. And at any certain moment, everybody in your organization is aware what we as a group really want. So this is the reason why we are building Ayanza. And in combination with all analytics, AI, and so on, it can be a next level of next level of running the organization in the most optimal way.
Wow. You just answered already my next question, which was, tell us about Ayanza, but you have beautifully described it, and I think it makes a lot more sense. What is next for you? What's the next dream or vision?
I would love Ayanza to be successful. And the mission of Ayanza is to bring vision into organization, into our daily lives, help people achieve their goals, and stay friends on the end. So I'm on a mission to fulfill this, and there's a lot of work to do, and I will enjoy every single day. There's nothing more important than this. And of course, growing my kids and building winning teams and common stuff.
So I would like to end here by thanking you, Jozo. Thank you so much